I was doing the tendon grunting. It's to simulate a buck, a rutting buck is in the mood, and that smell, and he's behind a doe that's smelling close to estrus or is in estrus, and he's tending her, chasing her around. He's grunting every step. He's grunting in frustration. He's so horned up. He wants that doe now, and he's just grunting. And sometimes tendon grunting is just merely a cruising buck during the seeking phase, when the buck's on a mission, seeking out a doe that's near estrus, or he's just cruising, going from doe group to doe group, or following doe trails and getting downwind of doe bedding areas, doe feeding areas, to scent that area, to try to smell and locate a doe that's near estrus. And he could just be grunting just because. Bucks this time of year in November, they're grunting a lot. They're extremely vocal. Sometimes they might just stand there and then they might take a few steps and grunt. They're extremely, all deer are extremely vocal and year round anyway. They're vocalizing with one another. They're extremely social critters, social animals. They travel in groups of 2 or more, and obviously you have your doe groups, and there's a lot of bleating going on, and a lot of grunting going on. There's a lot of chasing around going on. There's a lot of playing and frolicking going on with the yearlings and fawns. White-tailed deer, they are extremely social and very vocal critters. So a hunter, they really would do well to put a lot of confidence in their deer calling abilities, capabilities. Deer calls can be a hunter's #1 dynamite killer tactic in November to shoot a big, mature trophy buck. Deer calling can be extremely effective. I can't stress it enough that when done right, when blown right, when used right, when a deer call, a manufactured deer call, is used correctly, and you're using it to sound very realistic, you can't hurt your hunt. You're not going to scare deer with it. And I'm going to show you in this exact video, this episode you're watching now, you're going to see real live examples, real-time examples of where I'm calling to deer, and you're going to see their reactions, see them flicker their tail in contentment and go back to grazing. You're going to see that they heard it. It's not scaring them. I'm not spooking the deer. They're not running away, but they just aren't in the mood at that time to come. you can't hurt yourself using deer calls correctly while out there hunting. You can only increase your chances at shooting a big mature buck this time of year. Just put a lot of faith and confidence in your calling. Watch a lot of videos on it. Watch the instructional how-to videos. Read the instructions on the call that you buy and learn it to a T. Figure it all out, how it all works, and get all the sounds down packed so that you sound like a real deer out there. And then you can't hurt your hunt whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. You're only going to double or quadruple your chances at shooting a deer in hunting season. And this is a tactic. Calling is a tactic that can bring deer right to your lap. You can make deer come right to where you're sitting or ambushing. You could have them come right under your stand, under your saddle, right to your blind. You can get them to come in super close and almost petting distance by using deer calls. It's unreal how effective calling deer really can be. It really should be in your arsenal. It should be a tactic in your bag of tricks for hunting this year. You need to have calling as one of those tricks in your back pocket to utilize to increase your chances. If you're struggling, having a stressful kind of season and not seeing much activity, and you haven't filled deer tags yet, I'm telling you right now, if you go out there in your backyard, in the woods behind your house, and start using deer calls this time of year in November, in the rut, when the bucks and does are way more vocal than ever, and when bucks are actually listening, looking, and smelling for other deer. Remember, I said listening, looking for, and smelling. Listening's one of the things they're doing a lot of. The bucks, they're walking, they're strolling through the woods, and they're you can only imagine what that would do to a buck, close by buck that's within 100 yards that isn't near your spot, that hasn't given you a shooting lane. A buck that hears that isn't with any other deer, especially if it's a lone buck cruising, searching and seeking for other deer, and he hears that could make him come right to you to come looking for that other deer and listening for that deer. He's either going, if it's buck grunting you're doing, he might come in with bristled hair, ears laid back. He might come in looking for a fight, chase that other deer off, because he might think that buck's tending a doe, and he's going to want to come in to take over and try to breed that doe. That could be a scenario that's playing out in his mind and in yours. And then you do some estrus bleat. Man, that you end your call-in seat with your tendon grunting with some bleating. And that, oh my word, that is it's a great, great tactic.